Yo, what up, OGs? Welcome to episode 70 of the OG Sessions podcast. I'm here today joined by my brother, Joey Allen.
What's up?
How are you feeling,
I'm
man?
feeling good.
Let's go ahead and give you a quick little...
Thank you, guys.
Quick little cheering from the crowd for my boy Joey Allen, man. Quick little round of applause.
What's up, brother?
Big episode today.
Oh, yeah.
So we are breaking some new walls for the podcast in this episode. We have been searching long and far for the perfect first professional athlete guest to get on the show.
And we found him.
Yes,
sir.
So this episode, it's been a long time coming.
Let's get into it.
Episode 70. Please join me in welcoming the man himself, UFC fighter, Trey, the Truth Waters. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great, brother. Feeling great.
So Trey, the Truth Waters. How did you get this nickname, The Truth?
Well, so it's kind of like it's like a lot of different reasons. So one, I like to just stay as close to the truth as possible. Like a lot of people lie to themselves. Like they try to like out of insecurities, they kind of lie to themselves. Like a lot of things people do, just I don't know. Me, I just try to stay as close to the truth as possible. Rather it like regardless if it hurts, regardless of anything, I just try to be as close to the truth as possible. And I try to be as honest and as genuine as possible. And honestly, I just think I'm the truth as well.
Yes, sir. I like that shit. Because, I mean, it rolls really well. You know, Trey, the Truth Waters. I'm like, that shit sounds clean. First off, congratulations to you, bro. This past year, I feel like you have been, this was like a big year for you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Congrats on getting in the UFC. I want to just quickly dive deep into like the background of, you know, your life and just, you know, how you got to this point and, you know, what it took for you to get to this point. How long have you been fighting? Like, when did this start for you, bro? Were you a kid and you were out there, you know, punching people and shit?
Basically. No, I appreciate you. But no, I actually started training when I was 17.
Oh, wow.
So when I was a junior in high school, yeah.
Were you like into wrestling beforehand, and then like you kind of got into what was like your first stepping stone for getting into the, you know, MMA, I guess?
I used to play like football. I played like a little bit of organized football, like Pop Warner and shit when I was young.
What position?
In Pop Warner,
Sure.
I was like all type of different positions, like middle line.
Were you tall back then too?
Defensive end, yeah.
Because you're tall now.
Right, yeah, I was always.
I see you being like a safety or like a wide receiver.
Wide receiver, yeah. Once I got older, I was playing a little bit of receiver, but younger, I was like defensive end and shit.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'5".
Okay, sweet. Yeah, definitely. When I first met you, bro, I was like, damn, I was expecting you to be tall, but it's cool because you're also tall, but you're built as well. Like whenever I see you fight on, you know, on TV or whatever, it's like you always look like you don't have like as big of arms as the other guy, but you've got way more reach and you've got way more size on him overall. It's like, it's funny because it's like if you're gonna put someone in the weight classes that you've been in, I'd kind of much rather have like the size and the length over someone than like being like short and like, you know, you see some of these guys where they're like super buff, but they only have such a short reach. It's like there's certain guys are not even going to be able to get to, you know, before they get punched.
Right.
So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of like, you know, yourself and the way you fight and your style and shit. It's, you're a fucking animal out there, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely fun to watch fighters like you. You know, there's some guys that go in there and they kind of go like the safe route and they're very like conservative, I guess you'd say, or like reserved whenever they're fighting. Right. And they're kind of like waiting for just like that big heavy hitter shot. But you're very like, you let those hands fly and, it's interesting, bro. So you said you got into this shit when you were 17.
Yeah. I think so. I want to elaborate. So with my style, I think what I do is I'm very I bait a lot of my opponents. Like I kind of fight with my hands low, my head out. I kind of present myself as available to hit, but I'm not. So I like to make my opponents miss and counter. So I think that kind of what makes for like an exciting fight. And also what you said before. As far as being tall, that's the beautiful part about MMA is like there's so many different aspects to the game that, being tall is an advantage, but in certain aspects of fighting, like, yes, striking, like having the length advantage is good, but also they're closer to your legs. If they want to wrestle you, it's easier for a shorter guy to get there, easy for him to wrap you, things like that. So that's what makes it so like interesting because being tall is an advantage in certain positions, but it's also a disadvantage, you know?
Wow, that actually, I never even thought about that. That's a really good point because would you say that your strong point would be I don't know what the actual terminology is for it, but when you're standing up as opposed to like when you're down there grappling.
Right. Yeah. Striking for sure.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah,
so you would prefer for you and your opponent to spend most of your time on your feet. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought about just becoming a boxer?
I have thought of it. My boxing is really good, but the thing about it is there's a lot of things that makes me special at MMA.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, for
like
sure.
If I was to just be a boxer, like I believe, like I don't know. I think it makes me special being like as an MMA fighter, being able to do everything for sure.
I think that it's cool too because MMA, in my opinion, is a lot more like, I guess, true like realistic fighting than as opposed to boxing. Like I feel like you can actually get, I feel like you can get a lot more like damage done whenever you're in MMA as opposed to boxing. Like, yeah, you can, I might be wrong on that, but it just seems like from what I see, it's like there's so many more ways to get somebody to tap out whenever you're doing MMA as opposed to like boxing. You're just like, you know, you're just swinging until this dude hits the ground, basically, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's dope, bro. I think that you definitely chose the right path, apparently, you know, if we're sitting here, because it's like you've put some damage on some people, bro. And I guess when you're 17 years old and you're getting into this shit, was there any kind of like fear of, you know, just like you really hurting somebody or like actually, you know, beating the shit out of somebody too bad?
Yeah, there's fear there. Honestly, like even now, you know, for sure, there's always that. Like I'm like a super like sweethearted guy, as ironic as that is, but I never really want to inflict like serious damage on anyone.
Yeah,
that's something that actually bothers me. Like when I knocked out Ben Bennett, like that whole night, I was fucked up about it. To be honest, like I felt horrible. It was weird. Like I felt horrible. I don't know. I felt so bad.
You ever feel like maybe you might not want to do this for a long time if that's how you're feeling after you knock somebody out? I
mean, I can't do it for that long of a time. I only got like fucking, you know, so much longer to go. I'm 28 now.
I was just about to ask you that. Okay, 28. Yeah. That's actually you're still fairly young for sure.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily even reached my prime technically. So
the fact that you've only been doing this shit for 11 years though, and you're at the level that you're at. I mean, I don't know like how a lot of that shit works with like time frames and stuff, but I mean, you see some of these guys, like you see kids in there in the gyms, like training sometimes, like especially with just like wrestling and basic stuff like that.
That's true, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, congrats to you, bro. That's fucking dope, man.
Do you fight a lot of younger people? Do you think?
No.
Like, are there any like ridiculously young people in the UFC?
There is, but not anyone that I fought. Actually, my boy Steve, they were in like cahoots. It wasn't like official, but he was supposed to be fighting Raul Rojas, who's like, I think he's 18 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Which is sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old is your boy Steve? You're talking about
Steve.
Steven Kozlow
like
or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an awesome fighter as well, too.
Yeah,
shout out to him, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And you said he was 26?
Yeah.
How was he? Yeah, see, that's a pretty good age gap right there.
Yeah.
8 years. I mean, that's
crazy.
But he's a great fighter. I don't think that the age would really, I don't think that really come into play too much, but I do think that it's crazy. Like, this dude's got so much more life on this other person, you know?
Oh, yeah. I think with Raul, he's a savage, but I do believe that him being so young, I believe we're starting to see now how that can be a little bit of a problem.
Elaborate.
Because he just fought C-Rod, and C-Rod, he was the first guy to beat him. And he kind of manhandled him a little bit. Like, you know,
really?
It looked like that grown man strength really
came
into
You
play.
think it's just like the stamina? I mean, because he's younger, maybe? I don't know.
Nah, stamina-wise, I think that's an advantage of his. You know, being younger, you're like, you got like a super crazy energy level. But as far as like just strength and like, I don't know, you know, they say old man strength. I think that's a real thing, you know?
Do you think maturity also plays a big role in it? Because, you know, you've got like, you're in, I mean, for you, and I do want to dive deeper into this a little bit down the road, but when you're out there in these giant stages and you've got thousands of people watching you and you know that you're also being broadcasted on TV, like if you fuck up, everyone's going to see it. If you beat the crap out of somebody, everyone's going to see it. It's like one of those things where, do you think that pressure comes into play whenever you're like a younger fighter and you're like, damn, it's like you don't really control it as well? Or no, do you think that that's just kind of out the window?
I don't know.
It might vary from fighter to fighter too, I guess. You know, it depends on the person as well. How do you usually handle that pressure? Like whenever where did you start? Where was like your first like big lane? Were you doing like those combat nights and things like that?
Yeah, combat night. Yeah, I had a lot of combat night fights, yeah.
Were you ever nervous in like those initial situations whenever because that's a couple hundred people at least, right? Mm-hmm.
Honestly, bro, the people, like once you're in there, like it's only you and him, you know?
Really?
The people kind of like, they matter like in anticipation, But like once you're in there, they disappear. You know, they're it's
Zoned
no
in.
different. Yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting because that's so funny because when you're watching the fight, the fighters are so locked in, and it's like the only thing they're thinking about, it looks like, is the fight.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense. And whenever, I don't know if I've actually never been to a live UFC fight, but I've been to multiple of those combat night things, and it's cool because whenever you're watching it, the stage it's truly like not that easy to see what's going on, like from the outside of it. You know what I mean?
True, yeah.
Like it's kind of difficult. Like the way the lights are all set up, it's like really dark around the stage, but then the stage is like completely, very bright, and then and not in a bad way. Like I mean, it's still fun to go to those things. You still see what's happening, but it's like I could see how if you were just in that cage with somebody, all you really see is like that person, then like all the blackness and the background kind of.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how it is, bro. It's the people are like non-existent. Because when I fought for the LFA title in South Dakota, it was a lot of people there. And then when I made my UFC debut, and before, or when I've also fought in similar situations, there was like no fans allowed at the Apex.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't a lot of people there at all. And honestly, bro, no difference.
Really?
Yeah, no difference for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it's so badass that he gets out there and does that shit, bro. Like, I don't know. Me personally, it's just you're putting so much on the line, and it can get so hectic in there. And at the same time, it's like there's so many distractions too, right? And like things that could come into play. And yeah, shout out to you, bro. You're a fucking legend, man. That's just definitely dope. But I want to talk about what goes into just like, so you find out you're going to be fighting, or you're like preparing for a fight. What's your preferred weight class to fight at?
170 welterweight.
Okay, 170. So if you're, obviously you're probably not weighing 170 like normal. You're probably weighing like close to like 180, maybe 190 or something. If you're just like,
Yeah, about 190.
okay, yeah. So then you get word of the fight. How do you start cutting weight? Like, what kind of steps do you take to get prepared for it?
So me, I try to stay away from running when I'm not scheduled for a fight. I don't really run much, but once I do get a fight scheduled and I'm like about 8 weeks out, I do start to run a bit just to kind of get my weight down. And I mostly the main thing that switches is my diet and my activity. So I eat more clean, and I just get like a little more training in. But one thing about me, bro, I train year round. Like I don't never not train. I'm always grinding. So in a fight camp, it doesn't really change much for me.
Got you.
Just the diet gets more strict and get a little more active.
Yeah.
Definitely cool.
Have you ever had like struggles trying to get down to weight?
Yeah, when as an amateur, I fought at 155.
That's crazy.
And
That is insane,
I was
bro.
killing myself. I was about half of myself every time I showed up because it was a bad thing.
Did you have to sit in the sauna and sweat it out?
Yeah, it was bad. Even now, I cut a decent amount of weight. Like my last fight, I think, well, actually the fight before last, I was like 18 pounds the day before.
Bro, that is insane.
But I water loaded, so it sounds a lot more crazy than what it really is. But yeah,
I mean, that's a lot of weight to lose just in like a 24-hour span, whether it's water or not. Like,
you ever had to ride the bike in the sauna?
no, I haven't.
Like, have you done any activity?
I
in
haven't
the
really
sauna?
had the opportunity to do that because all the saunas that I've used up to this point has been like regular gym saunas, like dailies.
Yeah.
And shit.
I mean, still, that shit will get the job done, bro. For me,
yeah.
just sitting in the sauna for 10 minutes after a workout, bro.
Or you
I'm
could
like,
sit in the
forget
attic
that.
right now on the floor. This floor to
Oh
sun.
yeah, you can sit on the fucking back porch right now.
Oh my gosh,
it's crazy.
Dude, that heat is insane, bro. And we were just talking about this before we started recording. It's like, bro, you could have the best AC in your car in the world, and then you get out of the gas pump to fill up your gas, and it's like you get back in your car, you're fucking drenched, dude.
It's terrible.
It is
It's
insane.
bro.
But what do you think that does to you mentally, bro? Like when you're going through those cuts, I mean, I'm sure you're cutting like almost like 30, 40 pounds when you're getting down to 150, and that's got to be like mentally, that's got to do something to you, bro. Like,
Yeah, they say when you dehydrate yourself, they say that your brain actually takes like, I believe like 48 hours to rehydrate. So you fucking it's psychotic, bro. You dehydrate yourself completely, and then you go into a cage to get punched in the brain that is not even hydrated. That's how people get knocked out. It's crazy.
really?
That's
Okay, so
bad. I never thought about that.
yeah, I didn't realize that was how. I mean, I knew it affected you like emotionally and makes you kind of like have a different headspace. But I didn't realize that your like brain is fucking, not even really that hydrated or anything. That's a very crazy thought. Do you ever, when that fight was going on, were you were you afraid of anything like that happening, I guess, in the moment? Because obviously you're the one, you can kind of feel like, yo, I'm losing a lot of weight. I'm sure when you look at yourself in the mirror, you probably looked a lot skinnier too.
Bro, I've had some crazy situations, like crazy. Like one time, not too recent, kind of recent, a few fights ago, I had a bad weight cut, and I was literally, bro, right before I went to weigh in, I was like sitting there. I felt like I like had to pee, but like I like couldn't even necessarily get up to go, and I had like a fucking coffee cup in the hotel. I like grabbed it, and I like pissed in it, bro, and it was like Coca-Cola.
Oh,
it was just a little bit, but it was like Coca-Cola, bro.
Bro, that is crazy.
Yeah, so they're like, yeah. I've
so you're putting your body through
hospitalized.
like, oh wow, bro. Because
Yeah.
I was gonna say your body's got to be like in like fight or flight mode in some of those cases, bro, where you're like just give me a fucking cheeseburger, you know, or like something.
and you go and fight like that. That's what's crazy. Like you can't feel strong doing that
Well,
shit.
you get 24 hours, so the weigh-in is the day before.
Yeah.
So you get 24 hours to like rehydrate. So you get back right for the most part.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay,
yeah,
so that's
is
interesting.
a full day before. Yeah, that's why you're able to do this psychotic. Yeah.
Okay, I always knew the weigh-ins were a day before, but for some reason, maybe I thought that like right before the fight happens, they're gonna like weigh you again just to make sure.
Yeah, you can.
So you could pick up you could probably put on a few pounds at least over the next day.
So I walk about 190. So I cut to 170. I get back up to 190, bro.
No way.
I swear.
No way.
I swear. I'll fight
In 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what cutting weight is. That's why you do it. So honestly,
that is so fucking cool. That is the funniest thing ever.
it's crazy.
That
to
is
be
dope.
real though. If I didn't have to do it, because everyone does it. Everyone cuts weight. So if I didn't cut weight, if I fought at my natural walk around weight, I would fight at 185. You know?
Yeah.
But those guys are fucking 210. You know?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So everybody's shrinking themselves down. So I can't even, if I was like, man, fuck that, I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to cut weight. I'm going to have to fight bigger guys. You know?
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. And then those guys are also going to be closer to your height and stuff too as well. So it's like, you know, a lot of that advantage of what you're talking about in the beginning, it's like a lot of that kind of goes away too.
Yeah, for sure.
Would that ever be something you'd want to explore? Get up like in the I mean, if you beat the shit out of everybody in 170, like what would be the next step?
Honestly, that's kind of my goal, because I look at the skill level, and like the skill level's different, bro. 170 to 185, those guys are slow. They're not that technical. Like I'm telling you, if you pay attention.
But do you think their punches maybe make a bigger impact? Like, do you think you're like, because they're obviously going to be like a little bit stronger guys?
I'm sure they hit a little harder. But I mean, if I put on that weight, if I get bigger, I'll hit just as hard. So.
Yeah.
When you first got into this stuff, like into fighting or whatever, did you ever have like a moment where you're like, damn, maybe this isn't like, you know, a time where you lost a fight pretty bad or something and you're like, okay, this kind of fucking sucks, you know?
No.
Really?
I mean, well,
because I just feel like for me, I'm not trying to say, I mean, obviously I'm not, you know, obviously he's a great fucking fighter. I don't expect him to have a lot of fights where he feels that way, but it's one of those things where like, I know for me, I'm sure I'd have a great time fighting somebody if I'm winning, but like, you know,
Get your ass beat
I was gonna say, get your ass beat, then you're sitting on the ground, you're like, I can't even get up from this fucking position right now. Like,
right.
I feel like then I'd be like, all right, maybe I'll retire.
Isn't for me.
Right. Yeah. So, the thing about me is, I don't mean to like sound cocky or no shit, but I've never really like gotten my ass beat.
You ever been knocked out?
Nah, I've never been knocked out. So I've lost 2 fights as an amateur, 1 as a pro. All 3 of the fights I lost the same way. I got submitted in the first round. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and so in the first loss as an amateur, which is so far back, I was doing like okay. What happened was now that I remember that actually. So I had the guy in the guillotine, and I thought I had the fight. Once I had him in the guillotine, he ended up escaping. And he ended up on top of me. And fighting is so mental. People, like, if you've done it, you understand. Like, when you're fighting, you always have the opportunity to quit. You always have the choice. Like, like if you don't want to be in there, you'll find a way out. It's kind of like that. So when I ended up in a bad position, I started kind of freaking out. I honestly kind of gave the fight away. I kind of turned around. He got my back, choked me. You know, that's kind of how fight. Like when people lose fights and shit, a lot of times they choose. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Like unless they get knocked out or they're just getting their ass beat, but most of the time it's a choice. And so my second loss as an amateur, fought Elvin Espinoza, who shout out, he's a savage. He beat it would happen really quick. I kind of like threw a punch. He actually caught my fucking hand, which is nuts. Like that is anyway. I kind of slipped and he jumped on my back and choked me really quick. So, and then my most recent loss, which was in Contender Series, I fought Gabriel Bonfim, who's fucking like 14-0, savage, shout out. He's a beast. He's actually fighting tonight. And so I was doing well. I was doing well on the feet. And I got him he went for a takedown. I got him in a deep ass guillotine, bro. And he reversed my guillotine and actually Von Flue choked me from me having a guillotine, which is some sick shit.
Wow,
it's awesome.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds.
No, that
crazy.
sounds fucking badass.
It was sick.
I know what a guillotine is, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be insane.
It's some good jiu-jitsu shit for sure. It's good. And but anyway, I say all that to say this. I never really got in a fight, lost, and was like, damn, like I never could look across from the guy and be like, that dude was so much better than me.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of got like caught. I kind of just quit before. I kind of just,
Slipped
you know,
up.
little shit like that. So
are most of your losses from like being on the ground and grappling? And is that what it's called whenever you're like on the ground, like wrestling?
Yeah, when you tapped out. I tapped out 3 times. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, so I feel like that'd be a better way to.
Were they all
lose than,
shorter
like,
dudes?
Yeah, I only got this shit's funny. My debut, my first fight ever, was the only time I fought a guy who was the same height as me, and he freaked the fuck out when he seen me.
Really?
Him and his people, because they were just like, no fucking way, John. This dude's the same height as you. That's crazy. They were freaked the fuck out of. I think it kind of fucked with them mentally too.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's the only guy who's ever even been close. You know?
So not a lot of dudes are 6'5".
Nah. Well, actually, Jalen Fuller, the guy I fought that I got into the UFC, I believe he was like 6'2". So
would you prefer to fight somebody that's a little bit closer to your height because then they don't have that crazy like wrestling advantage?
that's actually a really good question. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, because you like to keep it, like you like to stand up and go toe to toe with them. So I feel like honestly that would be, if you're going to be better at one of the other, I feel like in UFC or not UFC, but just MMA in general, like being able to stand up and throw good punches is like, that's the bread and butter. Honestly.
But you got to have the groundwork.
For sure.
100%.
So this is what I always tell myself. I tell myself like, bro, there's 3 rounds, right? Every round we have to start on the feet.
Yeah.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying? Like no matter what, the round ends and we're starting on the feet. So every round you're gonna have to take me to the ground and keep me there if that's what you want.
How do you think you'd perform in like 5 or 10 rounds?
I actually the fight that got me into the UFC was a 5-round fight, but I knocked him out in the 2nd round. So never went there.
How does that feel, bro? I'm sorry,
He
I don't mean to
doesn't
cut
need
you off,
5 rounds.
But like, how the fuck does that shit feel, bro? When you like have that money punch where it hits him just like right where it counts, bro.
Bro, it's undescribable. So like,
Best feeling in the world.
yeah, one of them. Oh yeah,
It's like that instant W, bro. It's like put all the talking aside, put everything,
It shuts everybody up
shuts everybody up, bro.
because you won.
It's
Like that's
great. So the one that got me into the UFC, Jalen Fuller, shout out, he's a savage as well. He was winning. He was winning the fight. He like caught me with a head kick. He like almost finished me, bro. He got me. But that is kind of what got him knocked out because he got like a little bit too happy, overextended himself, and I countered him. But yeah, so that I was and also Ben Bennett, the guy I caught with that knee. So listen to this.
That shit was crazy.
Do y'all know like he won that whole fight? Do you know when that knee happened?
No.
The last 30 seconds.
no way.
He beat me the whole fight.
Had you ever been like? Had you done that a lot previously? Like I haven't seen every single one of your fights,
Never.
but that is the craziest move, bro. That's got to be like it's so risky, right? Isn't that so risky to like go up there and like try to make that kind of contact? I don't know.
Honestly, so I have to explain it because like,
Yeah, do
I
it,
just
bro,
have
please.
to be honest. I don't hate explaining this, but like it's hard for people to understand this, and like it's even hard for me to understand this. But honestly, bro, in that fight, like it was a miracle because in that fight I had given up. Like I had already lost. Like Neil Magny was in Ben's corner, and I heard him in the last round. I heard him, 90 seconds, Ben. You got 90 seconds. And then 30 more seconds go by. He's 60 seconds, Ben. You got 60 seconds. I remember in my head thinking like, bro, just let the 60 seconds go. Like I don't even care. I don't even want to be. I lost. It's over. I just don't want to be here no more. I want this to just be over. Like I lost. Like I remember thinking that. Like the fight was out of me. I had already given up. It was over. And then the ref like broke us because he was holding me against the cage as this is going on. The ref like breaks us. And he like smushes me, gets me right back on the cage. The ref like breaks us. He gets me right back on. And the ref is like breaking us apart. And this is not normal. Like normally refs will let the fight happen. And because it's not like Ben wasn't doing anything. He was working, you know? Like honestly, he was working.
He wasn't just holding you. Yeah.
He was jerking my hand down and scooting me. Like he was throwing punches. He was working. And I truly don't know why the ref, he split us up like 3 times back. Like he would split us up. I would let him get me again. He would split us up because I was done. I was done. I didn't even want to be in there. Literally, the commentator says, he says, if the ref breaks him up again, I bet you that Ben will get him on the cage again or something like that. And then the other commentator is like, yeah, Trey Waters has to do something. He has to pull off something amazing to win, right? Boom, the ref pulls us apart. Bro, Ben, and that's when the knee happened. Boom, I fucking kneed him. It's like 20 seconds left in the fight. It was over. And let me tell you, so Steve, when they break us, I hear Steve say, knee. I hear him screaming, and I just shoot it.
That's crazy.
But listen, Steve's story is there's 3 girls behind him that are just, he said that they were like cheering for me the whole time and like they were rooting for me. And he said that right when they broke me, he said that they were screaming the whole time, like, knee, knee. He just kept hearing them. He was like aggravated with them just saying, so he was just like, fuck it, like knee, screamed it. And I swear I heard him and I shot it, and that's what happened.
Bro,
I promise on
how
everything.
did you feel in that moment? Because I mean, your post fight interview was insane. Like such a motivational, like I don't know, just watching you do that, bro. I can only imagine like now actually talking to him and like realizing what kind of a dude you are. It's like so cool to watch you in those moments, bro. Become out like the winner, you know?
Bro, it's like honestly, and God, like he snapped in that moment because like he made me. I quit. Bro. He made it no error for me to think that it was not him. Like it's just crazy the way that he did it. Like it's just nuts. Like faith, it's crazy. Like
God did.
God did. I can tell you, like your
shit.
faith is you're a very faithful dude. If you don't mind, I'd love to speak about it a little bit. And you know, it seems like with a lot of like the glory and the things that you get from the sport, you give it all to God. With a lot of the, you know, just every aspect or every opportunity you get with your game to like give grace to God or just say something about it, you always take that opportunity. So, and I think that it's really cool for you to go about that because like a lot of fighters, whenever they get on that mic, it's like, fuck you, da, 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 da. You know, I mean, fuck Conor McGregor, all these like dudes. It's like, but it's really cool. I actually am I'm more of a fan of like the people that are a lot more humble and, you know, just give the glory to God and do things like that as well. So shout out to you. But are you a very faithful person? Is this like, how has this been like part of your life for a long time?
Yeah, it has. Actually, faith is everything to me. So actually, when I was 15 years old, I got into like a fight, right? And I was around like bad guys. I was a little influenced in a negative way. And so I basically just got into a fight, but it turned into more because somebody that was like around me ended up like taking something from the guy. So it like turned into like a robbery. So I ended up going to jail for this when I was 15. Wow. So I think I did like 18 days or something like that in DDC. But in that time, I found a Bible and like I started to read it, and like that's kind of like right there is when like my relationship with Jesus like really like began, you know. And yeah, that's how it started. But recently, like over the past like year or so, I feel like I don't know, my relationship with Jesus has just got like really strong, and my faith carries me through everything. Honestly, like I die to myself every morning to live a new life in Christ every single day. And that is, I've never been more fulfilled, never felt more secure, never had more joy, you know, like it's crazy. Like my life is amazing. And it's crazy because it gets misconstrued because like I'm newly signed UFC, like, and I don't mean to downplay it. Like it's a dream come true, but like, man, I wake up every day like so fulfilled, like with so much joy. And it has nothing to do with fighting. Like, you know, I did y'all see Israel's post-fight interview when he was saying that this is such an amazing feeling. Like, I just wish that all you guys could like experienced it just one time.
Yeah.
You have to like
Oh,
believe
yeah,
in
yeah.
yourself. Like, and that
100%.
was an awesome interview. It was so inspiring. It was amazing. But one thing, like true fulfillness, like true joy, like it comes from Jesus. Like fighting, like it's it's awesome to believe in yourself. It's awesome to take the risk and all those things. But like, man, like all that came from Jesus, from me, like that, and like it only means so much. Like I don't know, like my walk with Jesus is everything to me, and like I get so much fulfillment from that. You know, like fighting, it's a great addition, but it's God first, you know.
I love that, bro. That's super
Amen.
dope. Yeah, amen. Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah.
And have you ever been in, like, was there any specific events where you kind of noticed Jesus put like work in your life a little bit better? Obviously, with your career and everything you've got going on with that, it's like you said. I mean, Jesus is clearly. I mean, you are blessed, brother, for sure. And with the gift of beating the shit out of people. It is
That
so
whoop ass.
that he's given the gift with that can of whoop ass for sure. And but shout out to you, bro. I love just when people are really humble and they're just, you know, also very like passionate about their faith. You know, I feel like a lot of times like people, they get famous or whatever and they kind of forget about like their roots or their faith or things like that. And yeah, I love that energy. I think it's really dope.
Thank you.
Do you ever think that like it can do long-term damage to you?
I mean, it definitely could.
Yeah.
I mean, it for sure could. But that's like a part of my faith, you know. It's like, I mean, I'm here for some reason, you know, like, and fear that stops a lot of people from doing a lot of great things.
True.
So like, I don't know, that's something that I would never let stop me. Like, God has me here for a reason. He's not bringing me here just to drop me here. He's not bringing me here to give me like long-term damage, you know. It's his promises are true, and it's to be prosperous, you know. So I believe it, and I don't know. I just have true faith.
Was your most recent fight that you were just talking about the one, or not most recent fight, but the one where you threw the knee? Was that the most damage you've ever been like during a fight, or like
100%?
I
yes.
mean, that was crazy, bro.
Yeah, he was whooping my ass.
How were you feeling the next day? How do you typically feel the next day after these fights?
After that one, I was beat up. Like I got in a car accident. Like, yeah, that's how I felt.
Wow, bro. What's the recovery like for that kind of stuff?
I mean, I'm filled with so much, like, I'm so happy that, like, I don't really care about recovering. Like, I just be
Really?
living life. I swear, I be just chilling.
Even after, like, if maybe you win the fight, but do you ever have fights where you feel like you could have performed a little bit better and put it away earlier and not have taken so many punches?
Yeah, my last fight, yeah, I feel like that. I actually injured myself. I like broke my hand. So, yeah, I wish I could have just hit him with a shot and got him out early for sure, but it's not always going to happen like that.
What kind of things are different about going from just being beforehand? You were, I guess, just fighting in like these combat nights in like the LFA or whatever it is. It's the LFA, right? Okay. And then now going into the UFC, like, is there the training facilities on a different level? Like, what are some of the biggest differences as a fighter?
Honestly, there's no difference.
No way.
No difference.
Really?
It's the same thing. Remember how I said, like, inside of the fight, like, everyone disappears?
Yeah.
So it's like, ultimately, the fight is what matters. Like, you know, nothing else.
Before you're getting ready for a fight, is it like, is it a nicer type of room, or is it kind of like, you know, more upgraded kind of things?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah, it is, for sure. But what does that matter? You
For
know,
sure.
like, I would warm up, like, on a mat in the grass. It don't matter. You
True,
know?
yeah.
Honestly.
What's the biggest arena, or I guess not arena, but what's the biggest like venue that you've fought at?
It was actually for the LFA title in South Dakota.
That's badass.
It was
bro.
sick. It was called like Sanford Pentagon, I believe.
That's
was
awesome.
Sick. There was a ton
Was
of
it
people.
a big crowd? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Were they
They
cheering?
went crazy. Yeah. So when I knocked Jalen out, it was freaking. They went nuts. Like they went nuts.
That felt good.
It was crazy.
How do your are you really close to your parents?
My mom, yeah.
Okay, how does she feel about you doing this? Does it ever bother her, or does she?
She's
kinda
a
like,
huge fan. Actually, she's grown to be like a huge fan.
I love
It's
it.
actually super surprising. Like she'll text me like knowing about certain UFC shit. I'd be like, what? Like what? It's funny. It's so funny.
That's super awesome because I know for sure. Like I mean, I mean, my family, it's like they can't even watch it sometimes. Like certain fights will start happening. It'll be like, you started the third round and they're already like, no, I can't watch.
Yeah, so that's how my dad and my mom and them on that side is. They don't really like to watch it,
Yeah.
They'll rather just see what happened after.
For sure.
Which I understand.
Yeah, and 100%. But I mean, usually the afterwards is if you're doing it the way you're doing it, it's like usually the afterwards is going to be a pretty good aftermath.
Yeah,
so.
I definitely get those calls. Yes, it's crazy.
What's the what goes into choosing a walkout song?
And what is your walkout song?
So it changes every time, but it just depends. Like I don't know, it depends.
Is it just what you're feeling on like that week kind of thing? Like what new song is it? Do you always go for like a new song or just kind of like your overall vibe of what you're like? Give me an example. What was your most recent walkout song?
It was "I'm Illy" by T.I. So sometimes I go all the way back.
That's dope. I like
Which one's your favorite that you've had?
My favorite walkout song?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that not important to you? I feel like for me, that'd be the only thing I'm thinking about. Period. Like the whole white.
It's your walkout song.
Well, I'm like listening to the car. I'm like going through shit. I'm like, ooh, could this be one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What would your walkout song be?
That's a great fucking question.
I want to do something by Meek Mill, probably.
Yeah, Meek Mill would be a great one.
Dreams and
I think.
Nightmares.
Yeah, Dreams and I feel like that would be.
Have you heard that before? Has anybody?
Yeah, that's like,
Dude, that's like everybody gets that 3 or 4 times a fight. Honestly,
Right.
like there's at every single UFC event, there's probably at least a couple people doing Dreams and Nightmares. Maybe like right now, my most recent songs I've been listening to a lot of like throwback Wayne, which like I don't know if She
Bank
Will
Account.
would be a good.
Bank Account would be hard.
By Wayne.
I thought you were talking about 21
By
Savage.
Yeah, no,
Wayne.
same. I think it's the Bank Account. You're talking about the 21
remix.
Savage. Yeah, the remix
Yeah.
by Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
What was that on? That was on
You got it. It's good.
Dedication 5 or some shit or whatever.
so.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I ain't
That's
never
like a
heard
very
that
low.
one.
Hey, put it. Hey, that's gonna be your next walkout song. Listen to it.
Bet, I gotta listen
I'll do
to that.
Take It to Trial by Young Thug and Gunna.
That'd be fire.
No, they
Fuck
didn't
you
take
mean?
it to trial. Oh, fuck you mean?
Yeah.
That would be hard.
That would be. So do you ever like whenever if you could choose to be the first person to walk out or the second person to walk out, which one are you going with?
So the second guy is always like he's like the favorite guy. Like walking out first is like means you're most likely the underdog.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah, but I've been an underdog in like all my fucking most recent fights. But my boy Danny, shout out, he actually gave me a good perspective. He said that he looked at it like if when you walk out first that you're in there, and when the second guy comes out, he's like your food, like you're in your cage waiting on your food. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's actually fucking dope. I've never heard of it like that. That's sweet. That makes it a lot cooler perspective for sure.
Right, exactly.
And I think, personally, I think both would be dope because if you go out second, obviously you're going to be the fresher guy. Like you just got, whatever. You're just getting in there. But at the same time, the other dude got to get in there and kind of like relax and just kind of like get a feel for the mat and get a feel for like just, the atmosphere and stuff like that. What was it like getting announced by Bruce Buffer?
I haven't got announced by Bruce Buffer.
Oh, okay.
Because I fought at the Apex, so Bruce Buffer wasn't there.
Oh, okay, got you. I didn't know
Next
because
time.
I was like, that would be fun. Is that like bucket list? Is that going to be crazy whenever you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Is there someone that's kind of like a wannabe Bruce Buffer that's there that's like doing it? That makes it at least sound kind of cool, or is it? Okay.
No, it's Bruce Buffer or nothing.
Okay, yeah.
I can't even think. I don't even know who the fuck the other ones are that do it. I swear. That's crazy. I can't even think of
Do you
them.
have specific like referees that you would like to eventually have like ref one of your fights or
Herb Dean.
Okay,
That's my dog.
Bro, Herb
He's
Dean would be
actually,
so cool.
He actually, did he ref my last one? I know he refed my contender fight. And he actually
so
talked to me after. He like had some like words of encouragement. I was like, damn, like it's fucking Herb Dean. Like that's
Bro, that's
Nice.
insane.
it's cool. So,
Yeah, that'd be a really cool
Have you ever
one.
met Dana White?
yeah, Dana White. So after it's crazy. After my debut, they like brought me back to him like in his private area room, like where he watched the fight.
Yeah.
He was like congratulating me, telling me how much he like enjoyed seeing me and how fucking he liked it. He was a fan.
That's dope.
Incredible,
Fucking
bro.
crazy,
Nice.
crazy. He's a fucking billionaire. Like,
Were you starstruck when that happened?
oh yeah. That's honestly, I think that's the most starstruck I've ever been.
Really?
And it's right after you just fought too, so I bet the nerves are already like super high, or like the energy is just super high, and you're like, I'm going to be fucking Dana White. Like, bro, you got to feel like the king of the world at that point, bro.
Crazy. There's actually a picture on my phone of like me walking out of the venue, and Steve is like right behind me. He's got like a huge smile and my head's like down because I can't even believe. Like, I'm like, bro, this shit's crazy. I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. Like, I can't even believe this.
One of those moments.
And that is right before they tell me, like, oh, Dana wants to see you. Like, took me back. I'm like, it's a dream.
Is there any fighters that you specifically look up to? Like, is there, like, just with their fighting style? Like, who are some of your, like, idols that
John
you...
Jones.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I love this. I didn't even notice. That's
John
dope.
Jones, Izzy.
Yeah.
You know, those, like, Anderson Silva. You know, the long guys.
Yeah. Would you ever like to... like, you know, these are like idols. These are huge dudes, like, you know, like big time celebrities. Would you ever like to fight one of them? Or is it more so like you respect their game so much? It's like you want, like, I don't know. It's such a weird perspective if you can see where I'm coming from. It's
No,
like,
I get it. Idols become rivals.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you don't want to, like, because when whoever you're fighting that week is your enemy. And it's like, but no, I freaking love this dude. You know, like they're the reason I fight the way I do or something.
So crazy. Two of those guys I just mentioned had a similar situation. Izzy, when he fought Anderson Silva. Like, that was somebody he looked up to his whole career. He wanted to be like him. He ended up fighting him. And, like, I want to do that same thing to Izzy, you know? It's like,
That's so cool.
It's crazy. I want to do the same exact
It's kind of like passing the torch, you know? It's like you kind of learned your ways of fighting and how, you know, your technicalities and stuff like that through this guy, watching him all the time and stuff. And then
and
you beat him with his own game.
To get deep, bro, that's evolution. Like, think about it, bro. Like, Izzy, like, let's say that happens and I end up fighting Izzy and beating him. Like, bro, I've developed my whole game around him. Like, I was a fan of him when he was not even in the UFC, when he was just kickboxing. And I was like, damn, his kickboxing game is like so perfect for MMA. So I like studied it. I watched it. I took a lot from it. And then he got into the UFC and shit. But my whole game is around him and what I think that he should have added. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what evolution is. It's like, so I'm kind of a version of Izzy plus things that I felt like he was missing. And those are the things that I would use to beat him. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, bro. That is a good point.
Sick,
I
right?
like that, dude.
Crazy. Evolution is nuts.
That's actually really interesting. Like, imagine if, I mean, that's kind of how, like, fighters, I guess, get better and better over time, because it's not like Izzy's game is going to ever go, I mean, it'll eventually go down with age, but, like, it's not like he's ever going to he's going to still have that same, like, those same technicals about him and things that he, like, does, those same, like, moves, and you're basically just, like, becoming the version of him, but just a little bit better enough to beat him, you know?
Exactly.
It's super dope, bro.
Yep, that's how I see it, too. Like, it's crazy.
Would you ever like to go on that show? Help me. What is it? It's the Dana White thing. It's
the Ultimate Fighter. Bro, yeah. But it's bullshit now, though. Have you seen it recently?
I see a lot of clips from it.
I see so many.
It's so much drama.
It sucks now, bro. Like, back in the day, it was lit. You know, like it's hard for me to even watch the Ultimate Fighter now. You know,
really? Okay.
But I don't know. It might be because I'm fucking in the UFC now. Like, I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I don't think it's that. I really think that it's just watered down now.
Is there any specific fighters out there that you would like to fight, not necessarily because you, like, really respect them or anything?
So, Randy Brown is one. And he's
calling
close.
him out.
He's close. Yeah, I won because one, he just fought here he fought in Jacksonville at the UFC Jacksonville, the most recent one, and I was there. So he came out to a song, and it was like a reggaeton type of song, but so it was kind of hard to understand what they were saying. But my boy Steve, he heard him say like Jesus in it, so he was like, "Bro, that song was fire. We need to like figure out what that song is or whatever." So we like figured it out. We looked up the song, and like basically the song was like dissing Jesus, bro. It was like weird. It was like Jesus sit down or some weird shit. Like, I don't know. And I really felt the way about that. I don't know. So like I don't know. I would love, and I don't know. He's somebody that I've always seen, and I looked up to him at a point. I thought he was good, like but now I see him as like I could smoke him. You know,
you want to beat his ass.
I do. And it's a good fight. He's up there, and you know, he's calling for Ian Gary right now. So he's up there. He's close to the rankings, but like I'm right on his ass. So.
What's your trash talk game like?
Bro,
what's that
I'm from the hood, bro. Like I've been doing like I'm not no pussy. Like if it come down to trash talking and it comes down to that, I can do it. But I don't even like the term trash talk. Like it's like so gay. But as far as like getting savage, like you want to talk, like you want to like you want to intimidate, you want to say something like try it. You know what I'm saying?
Is that
like,
a big factor? You know, like, does that happen a lot?
No, but it will. Yeah. Like once I'm in front of these cameras and mics, because back like all the fights that I've had before, it wasn't none of that. It wasn't no fucking like what are they called, the press conferences?
Yeah,
shit like that. But with that, that's gonna come. But they can try their luck. You know, I'm ready for that type of shit.
Do you like try to? Are you? Because obviously at your level, like you're not a main event for a lot of these fights. Like it's not your job to like sell the fight or anything. But do you try to like hype up your specific fight? Like do you ever like try to post anything or just try to be like, not like saying like, you know, fuck you and your family or anything like that, but just like, you know, you're saying like just kind of hyping up the fight in any kind of way or anything like that? No?
Honestly, that ain't my job.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, for sure. Well, that's why. Yeah.
I mean, it is actually like,
I didn't know if you wanted to.
I'm like a little weird when it comes to that. Like I'm so like I keep the main thing.
Well, with you, it's like your fighting kind of sells the fight alone. You know what I mean?
That's what I go for. That's what I would like to happen. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I go for.
You don't need to start shit.
Right.
You just end it.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Facts.
And I think it's like you're going to gain more fans and you're going to gain like more people that like you on a personal level when you're not the one like always starting shit. I mean, obviously Conor McGregor did his thing and really like kind of put that trash talk and stuff on the map. And a lot of people do like that. But I think in the end of the day, everyone's kind of in their heart rooting for the underdog. You know, when two people walk out there, the dude that's always talking shit and running their mouth is this dude you want to get get beat.
And ultimately, bro, I'm genuine. Like I'm the truth. Like I'm really I'm really genuine. Like I really am. Like, so like, trash talking is not really me. I'm very chill, very humble.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say, oh, I'm from the hood, like that's shit, I come from like a low income area.
No,
so
for
like
sure. Yeah.
I'm used, like I grew up in that type of shit. So I'm not one of those guys that like, oh, you like get thuggish on me and I'm scared, like, or some dumbass shit.
Yeah.
Like that. So that's what I meant by saying that. Like I'm not scared to go there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you meant. For like, and if he needs to roast your ass right quick, like get ready.
Exactly. Yeah, but honestly, I'm real genuine. Like, and I just try to be me. Like, I try to be as real as possible, and that's how it always is going to be, even in the midst of trash talking. You know, because that, and like how you say, Conor, he came and he made it all like cool to talk trash, and that fucked everything up because it makes everybody so fake, so artificial.
True,
you know?
yeah.
And I hate that.
Because you see a lot of these fights, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you see so many fights where it's similar to Conor's situation where they get so, like, these things that they're saying, bro, are so fucked up, and you're like, bro, what is, like, is it worth it to even, like, it's just a fight, bro. Like, you know, I get it, you're trying to sell it, but you don't got to go after
you're making bad blood.
Yeah, but it's funny because, like, even after some of those fights, like, 3 months later, you see them, like, hanging out at a party or something. You're just like,
it's so fake.
Like, yeah, I see that same thing. I'm like, that shit is so fake, bro. Yeah. I mean, I know me personally, like, I wouldn't be able to, like, I take certain things personal, you know what I mean? Like, without deliberately doing it. It's like, you know, if someone were to say something about my family or something about, just really dark about something, I'd be like, damn, bro, I really fucking hate you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be able to, I ain't gonna be able to be in the same room as you for sure, you know?
See, me, I think I'm pretty good with all that type shit. Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody could say anything that really get to me.
What fires you up most during a fight?
Winning shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Like whenever if someone lands like a nice punch on you, does that kind of fire you up a little bit and make you want to get that, like, get back on them, or does it make you okay?
It does, but I'm also very strategic, bro. Like, if I get hit with a good shot, it's not even that I'm like excited, or it's not even that I'm like, oh, I gotta get him back. It's the opposite. It's like, ooh, he thinks shit sweet. Yeah. I'm about to get him, because that's my whole game, is I'm a counterer. So like Jalen, that's how I knocked his ass out. Bro, if you watch that fight, that was the first shot that he committed to. That was the first punch he committed to, and I countered it and knocked him out. That was the first one.
Does it feel better to knock somebody out with like a, not a counter, but like a jab, as opposed to like a full on? Wait, what's the best punch to knock somebody out? Which one feels the best? Uppercut?
It's hard. So when I bend that knee, that shit was raw. So like, obviously that was so cool.
That is so.
I fucking kneed him, and he just fucking like, fucking his weightless body like fell onto my leg.
But it seemed like you were done too, which was crazy. Like your energy, you were so. I mean, dude, the fact that you could even have the power to get up there and do that is insane to me. I mean that was such a crazy like.
It's crazy. But the Jalen one, the counter, I fucking slipped this shit, came over it and knocked him out. That was gnarly. Like, that was sick.
Yeah, that was badass. Bro.
That's hard to top. You know,
Yeah.
it is.
I got a situation for you.
What's up?
So you're in the ring, right? Big crowd, they're all cheering, but you don't see him because you're zoned in. Other corner, me and Nick. Are you worried?
No, y'all have no chance, bro.
You sure, bro? Because I mean, I'm just saying, it's like
I promise.
No, because Nick will go low. I'm running around the corner. You don't even see me. I'm running around behind you.
In the cage, I don't see you in the cage.
No, you don't see me, bro. Because you're worried about Nick going low. I'm running around behind you.
This was ridiculous. This is hilarious.
Y'all might have a chance if that happens. But if I can see y'all, hell no.
No, I feel like the only chance would be if we got you on the ground.
I'm getting your ass on the ground.
But honestly, bro, y'all can't keep me there. I would get up. Like, it would be so hard for y'all to keep me there.
I'm getting on Nick's shoulders and I'm jumping down.
Bro, I don't think we realize though. The thing is, if he could probably defend. I feel like he could definitely defend himself from us for a long period of time, for sure. Like he could keep us like off him. Like, but as far as us keeping him off of us, like he could take out one of us so quickly that it would turn into a one-on-one fight.
And if it's one-on-one, it's over.
Yeah, it's like in the first like 10 seconds, it'd be a one-on-one fight. I feel like as long like he would just like eventually. I'm going for the legs, but no, he just knees me in the face, and now it's just a one-on-one fight, and you're behind him, and he just turns around and just like
that. It's so funny because it's so hard for people to understand like logically like how crazy it would really be to like. But that's your logic. That's good logic. How you're looking at it like what would we really be able to do to hurt him? Like he would be able to keep us back, but as far as him, like, you know how would y'all really take a shot?
What's the span of time like that we would take for us to even like get him in a situation where he's like worried, as opposed to like all he has to do is if he took one step towards us when we started, it's like we're gonna feel like we're under pressure.
How long do you think we'd last?
Bro, I honestly, I bet you'd be under 30 seconds.
No way.
100%. Bro, listen, when I would hit one of y'all with like some shit, I'm telling you. Matter of fact, you know what?
Bro, he takes care of a professional fighter like with. The thing is, the people that he's fighting, bro, when they're defending themselves against him, it's like they know exactly how to like bob and weave and do all this shit. We have no fucking.
We're gonna run at him, and we're gonna out like this.
Look,
I'm gonna go in for like a Superman punch, bro, and he's just gonna like just duck a little bit and just knock me out. It's done, bro.
Hey, look, I'm gonna fuck y'all up. Listen, I swear, I ain't mean it like that. I'm saying that he's saying this. I could beat y'all with only leg kicks.
No,
within 1 minute,
I'm ducking them.
I will finish y'all.
I'm ducking.
It's a leg kick.
There's no way. When I throw
jumping
that shit, you're not gonna be able to defend it, and that shit is gonna break your fucking leg. Like
that is so.
Leg kicks are, bro. People like a regular person, they don't understand like what a leg kick would do, bro. It will fuck like because number one, your stance, you don't even know how to stand correctly without like. That shit like completely like you know what I'm saying? It's like whatever way you decide to stand off of not knowing how to actually stand, it's like I could use that against you so easily. You know?
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay, so you would technically keep your right hand, like you prefer to keep your right hand behind you. Mm-hmm. So like, what is that? Southpaw?
So my left foot forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Southpaw is right foot forward.
Okay.
So regular is just orthodox.
Orthodox. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's really interesting, bro. It's like you see some of these guys where they can go switch stance. And do you think that like, are you an advantage whenever? Actually, let me rephrase this. Are you always going opposite of what the fighter is? Like, so if they're in Orthodox, you're going to try to be in Orthodox as well?
That's a great question. So that it's called open stance. If you're in Orthodox, I'm in Southpaw. And that's normally how it is. It's normally opposite stances. You know?
Okay, so that like your foot's like technically you guys would come together as like
actually,
a puzzle piece.
I'm tripping. It's not. That's actually abnormal for it to be like a Southpaw versus Orthodox because most guys are Orthodox. So it's usually an Orthodox versus Orthodox guy.
Yeah,
and that is a closed stance. And when it's a Orthodox versus Southpaw, that's like an open stance fight or match, whatever.
Yeah.
And so what would I prefer? I prefer a Orthodox versus I would prefer to fight an Orthodox guy Because when I fight a southpaw, things get weird. Things change, bro. Like there's different shots that work. Is
there more Orthodox fighters than there is a southpaw? Okay, so
yeah, it's probably like fucking 80-20.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay, got you. Mm-hmm. So if you're a southpaw fighter, you're like chances of getting into the UFC and fighting like those big main event fights because you're going to have limited options of who can fight you.
No. Like,
so you can. Okay, I got you. So that doesn't like justify. I mean, obviously, like if you're right-handed, you can still fight southpaw perfectly fine. It's not like there's any issue with that. But it's like, I see what you're saying. It's just you would technically be more comfortable. It's like if you're fighting if you could choose it and have it all your way, then you would do a full Orthodox. I see. Gotcha.
But the thing about it, everybody's so good. Like everyone switches. Like I switch. I do both stances.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I can choose. Like if I want to, if this guy is southpaw, but if I don't want to stand Orthodox, I want to go with southpaw too.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So like you kind of got those choices,
Yeah, it's so cool, bro.
And what if your opponent is like, I'm not just being southpaw. I'm going to be switching. Some people just switch back and forth the whole time.
Does it throw you off whenever people get in the ring and like you see guys like Sean O'Malley and some of these other guys, like they immediately get in the ring and they'll like put their hand up really high, or they'll like just like do shit to kind of like they're doing things with their hands that are so abnormal. They're not just sitting there like squaring up with you. They're like getting their hands all over the place. They might be standing like just facing you type thing. Does that ever throw you off? Like what is that? How do you dissect somebody doing that in a fight?
You mean like just the different type of stance? Like
yeah, like when how you see like the bell ring and they'll like immediately like one of the fighters will always like immediately like run up to the middle real quick and try to like get their hands and like have this really high energy kind of like approach to it. Does that throw you off as a fighter? Does that kind of like how do you diagnose that as like someone like is you're kind of like defending this guy that's kind of acting weird?
Me personally, I just focus on myself, and I believe I have like a real strong presence in there. Like most of the time I lure my opponent to fight my fight. Because I fight like I'm like fucking Dominic Cruz actually said something about it. He was calling because he's so fucking smart and analytic. He was like watching me and he called it out. And but yeah, I slow the fight down based off not throwing. Like I'll fucking make you throw at me and I'll slow that shit down. Like that's just how I fight. So as far as what the other guy's doing, I always make him do what I'm doing.
So do you always go into a fight with the same mindset where you're like, this is my game plan, this is what I'm going for? Or each fight, do you kind of look at the person and do a little bit of research and think like, okay, I'm going to try to go into this one with a little bit more energy, try to get them off their game quick, or...
So when I first, actually, like, I just recently started to get like more analytic. Before I would just go in that bitch and just do me.
Yeah.
That got me here, actually.
Yeah.
Just going in there and just doing me. But... when I fought Jalen, who's a southpaw, and he gave me troubles due to it because there was adjustments I was supposed to make that I did not make. And, and so I learned a lot from that. And now I'm going to be like a lot more analytical for sure. And I'll be like doing like game plans and shit. But at the same time, you can't get like too stuck on that
because they're going to be game planning against you. So they might not even do the same thing that you're expecting them to do in the fight. So you really just kind of have like an idea of what they're capable of, and then just go in there with an open mind and take care of business.
Exactly.
Have you ever had any scary moments in the ring where you've been like, like scary moments in the sense of where like, maybe someone pokes you in the eye or something, like where you're like, damn, I'm still up and I can still fight, but I'm like, my fucking eyes hurt like a mofo or anything like that. Like, you see some of these guys will get poked.
Stomach hurts.
I got a good one for you. So when I was fighting Ben, I'm trying to tell y'all, he beat right before I need him, bro, I was done. He was fucking me up. So look, he hit me with a shot, bro. Like, I don't know what happened. He punched me in my eye so hard, but I punched him at the same time and knocked his mouthpiece out. So he punched me in the eye. I punched him, knocked his mouthpiece out. He went down to grab his mouthpiece, but as he looks down to grab it, I went like this to like make sure my fucking eyeball was still inside of my fucking head. That's how hard he hit me, bro. I was like to make it sketchy. Sure. Like I wasn't even tripping, but I just had to make sure that my eye was still there because it was like 3 of them. He was like, it was crazy, bro.
There's got to be some times where you take a shot in there. Who's the hardest punch do you think you've ever taken?
It was that one.
Oh, really?
It was that one for sure.
Did it make you dizzy at all, or just your vision?
Bust my eye, bro. I had like 3 black eyes on one eye after that fight.
Who's your guy that you have like ringside whenever after in between each round where you're going over to the side?
Steve and Seth right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, shout out Seth Dupuis too, man. He's the fucking man. We've been trying to get him on the pod for a while, and I went to his first fight. He did a great job, bro. It's really cool, like watching all you guys just like at different levels, just fucking.
It's awesome, bro.
Putting in work, bro. And
yeah, but us together, it's gnarly. Like we got some synergy for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys are all real mellow dudes, and like really, it like just let your work talk. You know what I mean? And definitely put in a shit ton of work. I think all the people out there that don't understand like the background, you just see like the fights and the pay-per-views and all that stuff. It's like UFC fighting is a all year round sport that you're training for. It's like there's no off season. You're just like always going after it. Am I correct?
Yeah,
like,
it's a
no
lifestyle.
Off-season, right?
It's a lifestyle. Yeah. If you want to get to this level, like bro, there's no way you could fight a guy like me, like being like having a 9 to 5 or some shit. There's like no way.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask you about that as well. I'm glad you brought that up. How long has it been since you have had like a normal day-to-day job?
I was just installing cabinets with my uncle. So
no way.
Yeah, like just fucking.
Do you think that like letting go of that job? Obviously, there's so many reasons. Like, trust me, bro. Me and Joey both still have jobs too. It's like even though we put in so much time with this shit, it's truly a grind. But at the same time, like I could only imagine what the freedoms that I would have and like how much more comfortable I'd be doing certain things if I didn't have that 9 to 5.
Right.
Do you feel like that was like a big weight lifted off your shoulders whenever you left it?
Oh yeah.
What was the what was the reason that you left that? It was because of the UFC?
Yeah, as soon as I got signed, it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, but I wasn't really working because I like right before I fought Jalen for the LFA title, I was working and I had stopped for like I think it was like 10 weeks out before. No, actually it was longer than that because I had already decided to stop working because I knew that I would like be like because I had already fought in Contender and lost.
Okay.
So I knew that I was about to go back on a run and get back into the UFC. I knew I was gonna be close. I knew I was close.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to make that decision. Like I can't I can't slow myself up, anymore. So I had to let that shit completely go.
Is it part of the process? Like you just know, like, okay, if after I've knocked over a couple of these milestones, like the UFC is going to be calling, or is it like, some people get it's like a hand selected type thing. Is it like, how does it work? Like, okay, if like when you were going into that fight, you're like, okay, I know if I win this, I'm going to be in the UFC.
Yeah, that LFA, bro, that LFA title, that's the fucking golden ticket, bro.
Okay.
If you win that LFA title, it's over. If you got a good manager, you win that LFA title.
What was that first call like from the UFC? Like, how did it go?
So, my manager called me fucking 4 days after I won the title. Matter of fact, about 3-4 days after I won the title, and he's like, bro, we might have a spot in the UFC like next weekend. And I'm like, what? No way. He's like, yeah, so if you're like drinking and shit or whatever, just like chill out. Like it might be happening, right? But I got a few of those like already like before I even got on Contender, I had a few like close calls, right? So I had just fought like 4 days prior, and I told myself like I'm finna like wild out this week. I'm finna drink and chill and eat food and shit, and then I'm gonna get back to training. But I'm gonna enjoy this 1 week so I can actually get back to training fully, right?
Yeah.
So he called, and I'm like, bro, it's not gonna happen. I was like, it's not gonna happen, bro. Like this shit didn't happen before. Like it's not gonna happen. So I continued to fucking drink and continue. I was wilding that week, bro. And a few days later, he called me. He's like, bro, it's happening. I'm like, and it's like the Thursday. It's like Thursday.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
dude.
so I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, fuck it, bet. So, yeah, that's how that happened.
That's
so
crazy.
you had to cut weight, like back down again in that short period of time?
Yep.
Holy shit,
I fought 2
bro.
weeks. So, and when I made my debut, I had fought 2 weeks, a day short of 2 weeks before that.
That's insane. How do you recover that quickly? Like that's
Bro,
gotta
I still had a blood vessel in my eye pop. Like in my UFC pictures, I got like a red dot in my eye.
And was that, correct me if I'm wrong, like which was this the knee fight where you threw the knee? Okay.
This was the one where I hit him with the counter.
Okay, got you. Okay, so that was it. So it actually ended up working out in your favor. You were only out there for like a couple seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, that knee, bro. That Ben fight. There's no way I was. Well, actually, shit.
Because I was going to
UFC,
say
I would have did it, but I would have been fucked up.
I was gonna say, because if that was the Ben fight, if that was right after like only having 2 weeks of training, I was like, imagine if you had a full like a period to train. What is the typical? It's like 3 months or something like that.
Like a fight camp.
Yeah,
like 8 weeks.
Okay, got you. And what is the like coming down? Like you're on the last week of fight camp. What kind of things are you cutting out?
Bruh, it's the weight. It's like the weight is what you're focusing on at that point.
Are you not supposed to? I know this is like true for NFL players and stuff. Are you not supposed to like be with your girl at all, like before the fight or things like that?
I believe that's like a myth. I don't know. Me personally, I don't be going by that shit. Like I do. I be doing me, bro. You know?
For sure, 100%.
I do not be. Boxers, they seem big on that.
Yeah, I've seen boxers, and sometimes like it's they'll like NFL players will sleep at like a separate hotel even if they're in their hometown like the night before game day and stuff.
Right. See, like the thing, like obviously, like on like fucking weight cut day and the day of the fight, like obviously I'm not like going super hard and shit. Like I'm
for sure. Yeah,
it's more of like chill. You know, I'm not fucking trying to perform. You know,
100%.
That's the thing. I think that's where people fuck up. Like if you have like some crazy shit, like
and the time too. Like if you're supposed to be going to bed at 10 o'clock and you end up going to bed at midnight, like those extra 2 hours, bro, like affects your sleep schedule, affects your performance the next day. Yeah. I've always been so curious about that. I was like, there's so many things that go into it that like normal listeners or normal people like that watch UFC wouldn't have any idea about.
Yeah.
And I didn't know a lot of this stuff either. So it's so cool. I appreciate you coming here and giving us that perspective.
Oh, of course, bro. I appreciate y'all having me. Some people do actually go by that, but personally, I just don't.
Yeah.
Just live your life.
In the UFC, they don't. It's like NBA too, where they don't really care about marijuana coming up on drug tests and things like that.
Well, you can smoke all like outside of competition, so you can smoke you can smoke weed whenever you want. But when you have a fight in competition, you can't smoke like so the day before of your fight, like weigh-ins, you can't smoke like that day or the day of your fight.
Because you can't be inebriated like during the fight or like I see what you're saying. Okay, cool.
They
it makes sense.
Just don't want you high.
Well, you can't be drinking out there either. Yeah, exactly. It's like
crazy.
you can't be. Have you ever met someone that kind of has like a weird pre-fight like ritual, like maybe they take a shot or something beforehand?
Yeah. Those.
Do you have any?
That. Me?
Dang, you took that question. That's crazy.
Before the UFC, I always smoked weed. Like I would fucking smoke. Like, bro, I've smoked with my hand wrapped. Swear to God, I've smoked a blunt. I went out and smoked with my hands wrapped, bro. Swear, like crazy. I would smoke like if I could.
But sometimes, like people, like if you're a big stoner, a lot of people like don't realize that if you're smoking a lot, sometimes you feel more sober after like just having a couple hits of something as opposed to like not smoking for a couple days for sure.
Exactly. I hit a pin like right before I walked out before. Like I fucking hit that bitch,
bro. But at least it'll kind of like calm you down in the moment and kind of like get your nerves right. A lot of people it helps them, keep their mind right in that situation.
It's easy. It's like easier for me to like enter flow state.
And I'm glad the UFC is one of those sports that's kind of okay with that. Like not because of anything in particular, but just like you guys are putting your fucking lives out on the line. It's like, let these guys just recover the way they want to recover, honestly.
The thing about it, the only facts behind it is it fucking slows my reaction time down, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so if
but
anything,
look at the
like
results.
a disadvantage.
100%.
I know, right? I'm fucking counter knockout motherfucker and shit when I'm high. I don't know what's up.
100%, bro.
Crazy, but I don't know.
It definitely kind of probably puts you in that more relaxed state and gets you kind of like, gets your mind right for sure.
And that's the best way to be is relaxed and chill and calm. Like you don't want to be all like super overhyped because that energy you're gonna need it.
100%, boys. So, how about we get into me and Joey's favorite segment of the pod, win of the week. All right, Joseph. You want to start us off this week? I started us off last week, so you said you're going to nerd out a little bit on this one. So
maybe a little bit.
Let's see.
My win of the week are the tropics right now.
The tropics.
All the hurricanes and stuff.
Oh my!
There's no current hurricanes, but there's a like a tropical wave coming off of Africa.
Is there really? Okay, because you showed me a little skit or a chart like 3 or 4 days ago, and
Fun fact about me: I check that GFS model every single day.
No way.
Once or twice. Sometimes
I barely know how to read that shit, bro.
I like seeing what the storms are doing, and I want to know if we're gonna get waves.
Yeah.
We don't get to surf a lot anymore. But
so should we maybe think about doing a Joey Allen surf forecast segment on the pod?
No.
We'll give you like a little green screen background, and you can point up here like, all right, now this model
Like,
is going to
this
be.
one's going this way.
I feel like that'd be funny. That'd be funny as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
That's my one of the week, and they're doing
I
good.
like
We
it.
got some activity out there. So
Yeah, me and you are
got
going to be
waves.
paddling out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Trey, I don't know if you surf, bro, but you know, if you'd like to, bro, you know, we got a board for you.
I've tried it. I'm not the best, but shit, I'll come try again.
Yeah, man, it's we'll definitely be out there tomorrow morning. That'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Solid win of the week.
Thank
That's
you.
Good.
What's
Fucks
yours?
with that. My win of the week. I'm a nerd out a little bit as well, but I don't know if y'all boys watch. I'm not a big I don't watch a ton of TV, and my girl recently got me on this very niche ass category on Netflix and like Peacock and stuff, bro. It's like those Viking shows.
Oh, bro, those are fire,
Bro.
Those are fire.
The Last Kingdom, Vikings, like the one with Ragnar and shit. What's another one? There's like Vikings Valhalla. There's like I've watched like 4 or 5 different series, bro. Finished the whole thing in like a
Really?
week. Like, dude,
Damn, you went hard.
they are so fucking good.
They are, though. They
bro.
are.
Those bitches are so fun to watch. I don't know, like the one with Ragnar Lothbrok, like where it's Travis Fimmel's actually the actor for him, and I think he's an incredible actor as it is. But that series is fucking insane, bro. And you've got I mean, it's just looking at like the culture. I mean, it's obviously like all fake. It's not like these are like real, you know, it's not like a documentary or anything, but it's cool just kind of like looking at, I mean, back in the day, dude, there were some savages, bro. Like Vikings were fucking crazy. And I don't know if any of that shit's accurate, or I actually did do some research on like Ragnar Lothbrok, like the name, and he was a real Viking, and a lot of the things that he did happened in the show, but it was like, I mean, just the way that they put it out, it's like the suspensefulness of it, the drama. It's like there's all these different relationships being formed, but they're all Vikings, so it's like they don't have any problem. Like the wife and the husband will go out there and just kill people like all the time. And it sounds like very dark and fucked up, but it's the way it's all played out. It's like you develop a very deep like connection to the main characters of these shows, bro. Like have you ever seen any of those?
I've seen a little bit. Actually, me and Steve and Seth, we were watching fucking Troy. We just watched Troy.
Oh, how was
That
that?
shit's so hard, bro. I think that's like my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
I really do. That shit is so hard. And
I saw that. I was gonna go check that one out too.
you never seen Troy?
No, I've never seen that, bro.
Please watch it and like hit me up after and tell me, because you gonna bro. It is so
Yeah,
fucking
I
fire.
posted on my story a couple of days ago that I've been fucking with this Viking. I was like telling people to put in like comment your suggestions in there, and someone said Troy. I was like, oh, I gotta check that
bro.
out.
It is, bro. Favorite all time movie.
Yeah, so that's a good win of the week, man. I mean, I love like Joe. Have you ever seen? You've never seen it?
I don't really. No, I've never. watched
I will just say like I'll put you on my favorite one. Just give it one episode, bro.
Okay.
That's all. It took for me. It took like 10 minutes, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is so engaging. It's like, I don't know what it is about it, but they also have the accents. I fuck with their accents too. It's like usually they've got like those European, like those like British accents or whatever they are, and it's definitely
Are there any pirates in there?
they're all kind of pirates. Like the Vikings, like bro, they raid and shit. So it's like cool because they'll have like their own little villages, but the way that they like get other villages, they literally go with an army and raid that shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like gets really graphic. I will say, like if you're not good with blood or like watching, I mean the way I don't know how they make it so realistic, but it is extremely like the graphics are very, it's violent.
Yeah.
It's very violent. And I don't usually like that shit, but you know. Anything to get my girl off Love Island, bro. That's all I got to say, bro. Because that shit is it's a good show. I'll give them credit, bro. I fuck with it definitely. So shout out to Viking shows.
Oh yeah,
Trey, win of the week.
Man, I got to go with Jesus Christ, bro. The way,
Yes,
the
sir.
truth,
Let's
and the
go,
life,
man.
bro.
I
Got
love
to.
that one.
Yeah, bro. It's my everything, bro. Without Jesus, like I'm nothing. Like I truly, and I say that confidently. I'm happy to be nothing without Jesus, because with Jesus, I'm everything, and He's right here. It's a beautiful thing. Like, and I'm just the type of like understanding and like breakthroughs that I've been getting like with my relationship with Christ have just been crazy type of revelations, and everything has just come so full circle. I'm just like, I'm so fulfilled. I'm just so grateful, and I'm so filled with joy just every single day.
I love that,
and
bro. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I like it. Do you still continue to read the Bible like throughout this?
I read it this morning. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. So you're so it's so cool to look at like guys like yourself where you've got so much going on. It's like you're a fucking professional athlete, but you still make time for your faith, and it just shows like how motivated you are and just like how much you actually care about this shit. And I think I respect it a lot. Like a lot of my listeners know I don't have really like a specific faith, and I don't I'm very open minded with a lot of that stuff. And looking at guys like yourself where it's like you're so committed and you put in so much time, and like even when you've got all the glory in your hands, you still give it to God. I just think it's so cool. Like even like I said, that post fight interview, bro, so motivational. You're a fucking legend. Like I knew from that point on, I was like, we gotta get this dude on the pod, bro.
I appreciate it.
It's cool watching guys like yourself also come from out of the same city that I've come out of. Like, it's just it's inspiring. I hope that a lot of these listeners take this shit away and be like, anything's possible, truly, bro, especially for a guy like yourself starting at 17 years old. Right. It's like, is that not like old as fuck to start something and become a professional athlete? Yeah. Like you're not going to find any NFL like wide receiver, running back, QB that started at 17 and now they're like in the NFL. I'll tell you that for sure. They were like damn near in the NFL. And a lot of these NASCAR drivers, like a lot of these guys, like you always hear about them. They started like their dad was a NASCAR driver. And they got them into it when they were 3. And just like random shit. That's just how it goes. Right. So you're breaking the odds, bro, for sure.
That actually was like a little bit of fear of mine when I did start. I'm like, damn, like, I guess I am like a little old, and like these guys started when they were 5 years old and fucking karate and shit.
Yeah.
But nah, man, it worked out. Like honestly, it's crazy how perfectly God set my life up. Like when I actually first started training MMA, there's a lot of things that I did from football. Actually, I used to go to this place called the Hit Center, and it was like high intensity training, a lot like my strength and conditioning workouts I do today.
Yeah.
Like crazy, like, and that shit developed me into an athlete, bro. I was a young goofy ass kid. And that shit developed me into an athlete, and that's when like I was only like playing football like on a small level, and but that shit really developed me. So then when I did get into MMA at 17, I was kind of like it was just perfect. And plus like my experience with like other sports and just like I played baseball a lot as a kid. I forgot to mention that, but I was big on baseball, and like the way you like swing your hips to swing a bat, that's like the same motion you use to throw a punch.
100%.
Sick. Like God just set me up perfectly. Like it was just a perfect transition as far as how tall I am, my range, like what I ended up actually choosing for my style. Because this is what people don't understand. Like starting out with MMA, you have to like figure out what type of foundation you want to develop without knowing shit. You don't know nothing. You've never fought. You don't even understand.
Yeah.
And it's like you develop from that. And like some guys, like if you make a big mistake from there, then that can dictate how far you can ever go. Like it's crazy, and that's something that you have to make a decision when you don't even know. Like, so I really I thank God that because like everything just worked perfectly when I didn't even know. Like I had no idea. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, man, you're like on top of the world right now, bro. And I can only imagine the things that you got lined up and the goals that you have. What's one of those? What's next for Trey the Truth Waters, man? Like, do you have a fight planned out right now? Is there someone scheduled? Okay.
No, I don't, because I broke my hand in my last one, so I'm still kind of recovering from that. But
okay, cool.
Hopefully before the year's over. And I plan on being the world champ, bro, UFC champion within like 3 to 4 years.
I love that, bro. That's dope. At 170?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that's insane.
And once I get that belt, once I get the 70 belt, I'm going up.
Dude, that's hectic.
I'm gonna get both, bro.
That's hectic. Yeah. And I think the sky's the limit for you, bro, especially with your fighting style and just like how aggressive you are in the ring, and like you're an animal, bro. And
Thank you,
yeah, and I don't think me and Joey stand a fucking chance. But hey, we'll be outside that ring, bro. You know what I'm saying? We'll be ready for you afterwards, Yeah. And dude, I appreciate you coming on this show, bro.
I appreciate y'all.
It's legendary experience, man. First ever professional athlete on the show.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for believing in the podcast, bro.
Yeah, man, thank you.
We certainly believe in you, and the shit that you're doing is fucking next level, dude. So,
I appreciate it, man. I believe in y'all.
Continue putting in that work. Because it's fun watching your growth, and it's fun watching just, what God's doing. I guess is what you could say.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Joey, any last words? Any last questions for the boy?
Any last questions? No. I do appreciate you coming out. It was fun. It was a good time. We had a good conveation.
Yes, definitely think we knocked it out of the park for the first time.
Actually, there was one question that I wanted to ask way, way earlier, but Nick wouldn't shut the hell up.
Typical.
Are you more worried to fight a shorter person? Since you're better on your feet, like, is there a group of people that you're more scared to fight? Is what I'm saying.
No,
Not scared to fight, but like,
no,
you know,
I understand exactly.
Would
what
you
you're
say
saying.
that you have more of a like your own comfortability? Would you rather have someone that's like not as close to your legs like that? Like, because you said your legs are way more exposed when you're a taller guy, and
I mean, it's an advantage being shorter as far as wrestling wise. Like, yeah, they are closer to my legs, but it's not like that profound to where like, oh, if he's a shorter guy, he's really going to be.
you're not really worried about it.
his shoulders are also closer to his head. So we keep saying like, yeah, the guy that's shorter is closer to his legs, but his shoulders are closer to the other dude's head.
Right.
So it's like in reality, there's an advantage for both. You
That's
know.
true. That's true.
But most of your losses are the people that you or have had like a little bit of a problem against have been the shorter guys, the more stockier, like the guys because. Well, because you got on the ground, I guess. What I'm trying to say, like not a lot of people beat you standing straight up. So I think that's a really cool aspect of your game, and I think just keep honestly using that shit against to your benefit because
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
Yeah, it's fun watching you fight, bro, and
I
it's
appreciate
always
it,
going to be either a quick finish, you know what I mean, just put them away early, or that shit might go all the way to the end, and you might get some extravagant, like crazy ending,
knee.
bro. Yeah, shout out to that. Shout out to that knee. Honestly,
shit was crazy.
I think that I should have made my win of the week the knee.
Yeah. The knee you don't want to get hit with.
Yeah, man. Trey the Truth Waters on the OG Sessions podcast, episode 70. All y'all that are listening to this thing, man, make sure that you're subscribed on all platforms. If you're down in Brazil, make sure you're tuned in on Player FM. We're on iHeartRadio, we're on Sirius XM. Anywhere in the world you can tune into this podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, make sure you drop that like, and make sure you drop that comment, baby. If you know someone that likes UFC, or you know someone that would just fuck with our boy Trey the Truth Waters, or you know someone that would just fuck with the boys in general,
Yes, sir.
Put them on this podcast, man. Share it, send it
them
to
the
a
link.
friend, bro. You know how it goes, man. We're starting a little army over here. And the people on Patreon know that we got some big things planned. Big, huge mega trip lined up. And that's going to be taking place right after this episode drops. So everybody stay tuned. Shit's getting lit. OG Sessions Podcast. We are out.
Peace.